you've seen the well-to-do up on Lenox Avenue, on that famous thoroughfare, with their noses in the air, high hats and collared collars, white spats and $15, spending every dime for a wonderful time. If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, if you're blue and you don't know where, if you're blue and you don't know where to go to, yeah. This Irving Berlin fella seems to have come a bit of a cropper here, Jeeves.
Sir?
This new song of his, too many words, not enough notes.
If you'll pardon me for saying so, sir, it seems to be a reasonably straightforward syncopated 5/4 time signature. If you were to accent the words if, where, and fashion, I think you'll find that the correct rhythmic pattern would emerge.
If, where, and fashion. Right. If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? Putting on the Ritz. Well, he more or less gets away with it, Jeeves. What about this? Spangled gowns upon a beauty of hand-me-downs, on clown and cutie, all misfits. Putting on the Ritz. Well, just as well for him he chose the Ritz, Jeeves. Imagine the trouble he'd have got into if he decided to write about putting on the Regency. I mean, where do you suppose he'd find a rhyme for Regency, Jeeves?
With due expediency, sir?
With due expediency. Putting on the Regency doesn't really work, does it, Jeeves?
Very true, sir. I wonder if I might have a word, sir.
What? All right, Jeeves, what is it?
I received a letter from my Uncle Charlie this morning, sir. He's considering marriage and would like to know if I'm likely to be in England for the ceremony in September.
Most unlikely, Jeeves. I have no intention of returning to Blighty in the foreseeable future, if at all, Jeeves. I mean, think of the advantages of this wonderful country, Jeeves.
Very good, sir.
Aunt Agatha doesn't live here. Roderick Spode doesn't live here. Madeline Bassett doesn't live here. Honoria Glossop doesn't live here. I mean, the list is endless.
As you say, sir.
Send your Uncle Charlie your felicitations and the customary fish slice, Jeeves.
Very good, sir.
In fact, send him one from me while you're at it.
Thank you, sir. And will you be in to luncheon, sir?
No, Jeeves. As soon as I've mastered this, I'm going to look into the Pumpkin Club.
Very good, sir.
Bingo little as I live and breathe. Bertie Wooster! I didn't know you were in New York.
I'm here with my uncle.
How is the old chap?
He's come over for treatment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Are you having lunch?
Just on my way up.
No, you don't want to eat here. I'll take you to a little place I know. Best food in town.
Lead on, fruit.
Will you have what you always have, Richard?
Of course. And my friend will have a hamburger and French fries. We'll both have coffee to drink.
1 cheese omelette with fries, 1 hamburger with fries, and 2 coffees.
Strange that. English girl working here.
What do you think, Bertie?
Oh, bingo, you're not in love again.
Well, of course I am. Wouldn't you be?
No, I blasted well wouldn't. Can't you take a day off once in a while? Tell me about your uncle.
What about him?
You said he was ill.
Oh, not really. He's in the Glossop clinic.
That's not my old chum, Sir Roderick Glossop, is it? The loony doctor?
That's the chap. Only Uncle Mortimer's not loony. He just eats too much. His doctor told him he'd got to lose some weight and shoved him off to see this Glossop chap. When Glossop moved over here, Uncle Morty came with him.
How long has he been in the clinic?
In all, just over a year.
Crikey, he must have lost a lot of weight.
Not an ounce. Isn't she adorable, Bertie?
Good morning, sir. A fine morning with some scattering of cirrocumulus and a light breeze from the southeast. You'll pardon me mentioning it, sir, but I discovered this article on our hat rack. I can only assume that a tradesman left it.
Oh, geez, we're not going to have a difference of opinion about that hat, are we?
I'm not yet in a position to say, sir.
This is what is known among the fashionable elite as a 42nd Street skimmer, Jeeves.
Gentlemen do not wear straw hats in the metropolis, sir.
Jeeves, I am not going to discuss it any further.
If you say so, sir. Mr. Little is here to see you, sir.
Oh, Lord, we'll stand by for sharp squalls and gale-force winds from the direction of Art's Diner, Jeeves.
Sir?
Mr. Little is in love again, for the 53rd time on this occasion, with a waitress from Art's Diner and Grill, where every sandwich is a work of art.
Mr. Little is certainly a warm-hearted gentleman, sir.
Warm-hearted? He has to wear asbestos vests.
Bertie, I want you to do a bit of diplomatic business with my uncle. He always disapproves of anyone I want to marry, and I need his approval.
But Bingo, every time you fall in love, something goes wrong and you're left in the lurch. Why not leave tackling your uncle until everything's fixed and settled?
It is fixed and settled. She accepted me last night.
I thought you only met a week ago.
Why do you always... Bertie!
What?
Do you remember that frightfully subtle scheme I worked out, telling him you were what's-her-name who wrote those books?
I thought that was my idea, wasn't it, Jeeves?
Perhaps so, sir.
What do you mean, perhaps so?
Well, perhaps I misremember the occasion, sir, but I had always believed that I was to some degree responsible.
Oh, nonsense, Jeeves. I remember as if it were yesterday. I said...
Never mind whose idea it was. The point is, it was a corker. What I say is this. Rosie M. Banks, forward once more.
Sorry, Bingo, out of the question. I will not go through all that again, pretending that my pen name was Rosie M. Banks and that I'd written all those frightful novels.
Not for me.
Not for you, nor a dozen like you.
I never thought to hear those words from Bertie Wooster.
Yeah, yes, well, you've heard them now. Paste them into your hat.
Our very last copy, sir.
This is an absolutely rotten idea, Bingo.
Here's her latest. Just sign it. To Lord Bittlesham from Rosie M. Banks with all good wishes.
I haven't even read the bally thing.
You don't have to read it. They're all the same. Innocent but doughty young mill girl, waitress, shop girl, falls in love with poor but handsome young architect, motor mechanic, mining engineer. Innocent but doughty, etc., is blackmailed into compromising situation by even more handsome but dastardly mill owner's son. She's rescued by poor but handsome, who then finds out that he's the rightful heir to the Duke of Dorset, and they live happily ever after. When Uncle Mortimer reads all that, he'll be a gone swan.
May I help you?
Good afternoon. I'd like to see Lord Bittlesham, please.
Up the stairs, suite 4.
The intake must be constant and ensure you have a sweet course with each meal. At least 3 helpings at each sitting are essential. Yes? Oh, it's Bertie Wooster, isn't it?
What ho, Sir Roderick? I'm here to see Lord Bittlesham.
I didn't know you knew each other. Come in, come in. Bertie Wooster is here to see you, Mortimer.
Good Lord, what a wonderful surprise.
Well, heard you were laid up, you know.
Why don't you stay and have lunch with us, Bertie, after you've finished here?
Take the opportunity, Mr. Wooster, if you can. Sir Roderick has the most sublime chef.
Oh, well, thanks.
I'll see you later, Bertie.
Mr. Wooster, I wish to congratulate you. I wish to thank you. You go from strength to strength. I have read All for Love. I have read Only a Factory Girl. I know Madcap Myrtle by heart, but this is your bravest and your best. It tears the heartstrings.
Oh, well, I brought you one of those, as a matter of fact.
Oh, thank you. Oh, inscribed. How kind. Mr. Wooster, I'm a better man for having read this book. Really, a better, sweeter, deeper man. Ah, my treatment. A harsh regime indeed, Mr. Wooster.
A better man, you say?
Yes, infinitely. I'm full of human charity and sweetness towards my fellow man.
Oh, including young Bingo?
My nephew, Richard? Well, yes. Even towards Richard, yes.
Oh, stout fellow. Or rather, good egg. Because I wanted to talk to you about him.
Didn't I tell you the chef was a master?
He wants to get married.
Well, I see no reason why he shouldn't.
Oh, splendid.
As long as it doesn't interfere with his cooking.
No, Bingo does.
Richard wants to get married. Well, I'm not altogether sure that I approve of that. Who is the lady?
Well, as a matter of fact, she's a waitress.
This is remarkable. This is most cheering. I had not given the boy credit for such tenacity of purpose. I recollect that when I first had the pleasure of making your acquaintance last year, Richard was desirous of marrying this waitress.
Yes, it is good, isn't it? Of course, it's not exactly the same waitress. But still, it's a waitress.
I did a lot of work with heavy drinkers for my PhD. One thing I found they all had in common was that as children, They'd be deprived of alcohol?
My point exactly.
That's the basis of his whole treatment.
Mr. Bertram Wooster to see you, sir.
What-ho?
Bertie Wooster. Good Lord.
Oh, what-ho, Honoria?
You know Mrs. Snap?
We met outside.
And this is Dr. Blair Eggleston.
How do you do?
Bertie and I were engaged once, weren't we, Bertie?
Well...
Bertie's an absolute fool. Just let me slip through his fingers.
Silly me.
You ought to see something of each other again. Bertie can show you around New York.
Oh, yes, I say. That would be super.
Well...
And how did you find Lord Bittlesham, Bertie?
Well, to tell you the absolute truth, Sir Roderick, I couldn't quite work it out. I mean, I thought he was here to lose weight. But there he was, hoovering in the scoff like a team of dray horses after a hard day delivering beer. I mean, of course, I know nothing of medical matters.
No, of course not. The Glossop method is based on the patient being given an excess of whatever it is he most desires, as it may be alcohol, or the companionship of the opposite sex, or as in Lord Bittlesham's case, food. The patient will eventually revolt at the sheer immoderation of it and voluntarily deny himself.
Yeah, sort of get it out of his system.
Precisely.
Is it successful?
It's theoretically impeccable, Bertie, and extremely popular.
Yes, I should think it would be.
The medical profession in England are a cartel of backward-looking dinosaurs.
You mustn't upset yourself, Daddy.
No, quite. Shall we go to lunch?
I haven't got time for lunch, Roderick. You know that.
Oh, surely you can.
No. I've got the linen to check. We can't trust these girls to do it.
I'll tell you something about Roderick Glossop, Jeeves. He has something on his mind. Conversing with him, one felt that his thoughts were far away and his thoughts were stinkers.
It's possible that it is Sir Roderick's situation with regard to Mrs. Snap that is causing him chagrin, sir.
There was a situation with Mrs. Snap.
Oh, indeed, sir. Ever since Lady Glossop eloped with the conductor who befriended her on the 73 omnibus, Sir Roderick has keenly missed the comforts of connubiality and has been eager to remarry.
He wants to marry Myrtle Snap.
Precisely so, sir, but Mrs. Snap refuses to consider such a venture, while Sir Roderick's daughter remains unmarried. In a colourful turn of phrase, she stated that certain specific and scarcely to be anticipated meteorological conditions would have to take place in the infernal regions before she would share a home with Miss Honoria.
Well, amen to that. But how do you know so much about the Glossops?
The butler, Dobson, is an old acquaintance, sir. Dobson has exceptionally keen hearing.
Listens at keyholes, you mean?
Precisely so, sir. He is gathering material for his memoirs. Will that be all, sir?
Yes, that'll be all, Jeeves. Good night.
Good night, sir.
What, Bingo? How did it go with Uncle Mortimer? Not bad. I left him thinking it over. Thinking it over? If I was a bookie, I should feel justified in offering 100 to 8 against. 100 to 8? That's no blasted good. Might have known you'd muck it up. Well, I like that. Have you been to see him? He might have softened up by now. No, I'll go tomorrow. I'm playing tennis with Blair Eggleston this afternoon. Well, the doctor fellow, you know him, do you? Well, of course I know him. I wouldn't be playing tennis with him otherwise. We play twice a week, and he spends the whole game telling me about his miserable love life. What's wrong with his love life? Honoria Glossop is. He's madly in love with her, and he can't bring himself to tell her. But he's the most frightful hearty. A doctor and good-looking and all that sort of thing. I know. You'd think he'd be a menace to the sex and have to be kept on a leash in the interest of pure womanhood. But put him alone in a room with a woman, and he comes over all faint and has to ask for a glass of water. Yeah. What a lesson to us all, Bingo. Well, not you, as it happens. Bingo! What? No, I mean bingo. Inspiration has struck. About my uncle. Well, not in this instance, no. Honoria Glossop has been making definite tally-hoes in my direction, and I need to throw her off the scent. I would also be doing my old chum Roderick Glossop a good turn. Look, you're seeing Eggleston this afternoon, you say? Yes. Well, just try and drop it into the conversation, will you, that he'd better heat up his feet and grab Honoria while the grabbing's good, because you happen to know that someone else is making a heavy play in her direction and may have the deal sewn up at any moment. All right. But who's making a heavy play in her direction? Bertram is, Bingo. Jeeves always thinks he's so dashed clever about these affairs of the heart. I sometimes wonder if he doesn't think I'm a complete idiot. He's also getting a bit above himself in matters of headgear. Now, you leave it to Bertram. seen that Eggleston fellow lately?
Yesterday afternoon. He's consumed with jealousy, Bertie.
Good, good.
I kept telling him what fun you and Honoria were having, going about together. If he wasn't grinding his teeth, then I don't know a ground tooth when I hear one. People on the next court were complaining about the noise.
Excellent. By the way, Bingo, not a word to Jeeves if you bump into him. You know how he likes to think that he's the only one who can sort out these little human emotional difficulties? I want to present him with a fait accompli. Uncle Bertram knows what he's doing. Pip, pip.
Bertie, I have something important to tell you.
You on for tonight?
Well, to tell you the truth, Bertie,
Aha! Blair Eggleston.
Bertie!
Toodle pip, Honoria. Jeeves?
Good afternoon, sir.
It is, Jeeves. It certainly is. Yes, let me entertain you a while with the story of a coup in the field of human relations, such as... Oh, answer that, will you, Jeeves? I'm not at home to anybody.
Very good, sir. Mr. Wooster's residence? No, Miss Glossop. I really couldn't say, Miss Glossop. No, miss. Very good, miss. Indeed, miss. Well, congratulations, Miss Glossop. I hope you will be very happy. Goodbye.
Miss Glossop, Jeeves?
Indeed it was, sir. A most mysterious telephone call.
Tell me what she said, Jeeves, then I shall reveal all.
She asked me to tell you, sir, that Dr. Eggleston proposed to her last evening.
Last evening?
And that she had accepted his proposal, but before she could tell you so, something, and she did not specify what it was, but said that you would know, sir, happened, and that Dr. Eggleston witnessed this occurrence and subsequently broke the engagement.
Oh,
no! However, she asked me to inform you, sir, that she will now marry you.
What?
She says that while you may not be the man of her dreams, she feels that your patient love should be rewarded.
Oh, no. Oh, Jeeves.
But we were interrupted, sir. There was something you wished to tell me? Could I do something for you, sir?
No, that's all right. Thank you, Jeeves. You carry on. A problem has arisen in the life of a friend of mine, Jeeves, who shall be nameless, and I want, or rather, he wants, your advice.
Certainly, sir.
Well, now, I must begin by saying that this is one of those delicate problems where not only must my friend be nameless, but all the other personnel as well.
Would you prefer it if we were to term the protagonists A and B, sir?
Yes, or North and South.
A and B is more customary, sir.
Yeah, well, you know best, Jeeves. Very well. Now then, A is male and B female. You follow me so far?
You have been lucidity itself, sir.
Right. Well, owing to a, what's that something of circumstances you hear people talking about? Cats come into it, if I remember rightly.
Would concatenation be the word for which you are groping, sir?
That's it. Owing to a concatenation of circumstances, B has got it into her nut that A is in love with her, but he isn't. Now then, until recently, B was engaged to...
Should we call him C, sir?
Yes, well, Caesar is as good a name as any, I suppose. Yes, well, as I was saying, until recently, B was engaged to Caesar, and A hadn't got a care in the world. But now there's been a rift within the lute, the fixture's been scratched, and B is talking freely about teaming up with A. Now, what I want you to bend your brain around, Jeeves, is the problem of how Caesar can oil out of it.
I think, sir, that you mean A.
Do I? Wait a minute. Oh, yes, yes, that's right. Yes, how A can oil out of it. Now, I don't want you thinking that this is simple, Jeeves. You see, A is what is known as a preux chevalier, and this hampers him. I mean, if B comes to him and says, A, I am yours, he can't simply reply, oh, that's what you think. No, he has his code, you see, and his code rules that he must accept the situation. Although, frankly, Jeeves, he'd rather be dead in a ditch. Well, there you are. All the facts are before you. Anything stirring?
Yes, sir.
Well, good heavens, Jeeves. That certainly is the deluxe express service.
Thank you, sir. Obviously, sir, B's matrimonial plans would be rendered null and void if A were to inform her that his affections were engaged elsewhere.
But they aren't.
It would only be necessary, sir, merely to convey the impression that that were the case.
I see what you mean. Yes, if I were... Or rather, if A were to produce a female and have her assert that she was betrothed to me, or well, I should say betrothed to him, then the peril would be averted.
Precisely, then.
Yes.
You get down to the track.
Bingo, old can of fruit.
What ho, Bertie?
I have a boon to crave.
A what?
That girl in the diner. You've got to know her a bit, have you? I mean, you're friends.
Well, as a matter of fact.
Only I need to borrow her for an hour or two.
Steady on.
No, it's all strictly above board, Bingo, I assure you. I need her to pretend that she's engaged to me.
No, 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 no.
Oh, come on, Bingo. I'm in a desperate situation.
So is she. We got married yesterday.
Sunny side up.
Sunny side.
As a matter of fact, we were going to ask you a favour.
We were going to ask you to break the news to Lord Bittlesham.
Well, I can't go there. Eggleston might be there.
No, not since the breakup. We played tennis yesterday, and he said he was never going to see Honoria again.
Hamburger and fries.
Well, I thought you got married yesterday.
Well, yes, but after tennis. Anyway, Eggleston's rather keen to see you. I absolutely refuse to give him your address, though.
Well, thank you, Bingo.
Of course, Richard doesn't know how long he'll be able to resist if Eggleston keeps asking.
Ah, Mr. Wooster, there you are. Now, tell me, what can I do for you?
Well, the fact is that I'm here more or less in the capacity of a jolly old ambassador at the moment, representing young Bingo, you know.
Bingo? I had hoped for a literary conversation.
Well, the way I see it, young Bingo's predicament, that is that it's dashed difficult to prevail against a pure and all-consuming love.
Yes, we discussed all that at our last meeting, Mr. Wooster.
But there have been developments since. Now, the fact of the matter is that yesterday afternoon, young Bingo went and jumped off the dock.
Good heavens, why? Where? Which dock?
No, I mean he got married.
Married?
Hitched, absolutely. I hope you're not ratty about it, what? Young blood and so on, two loving hearts and all that.
I'm greatly disturbed by your news, Mr. Wooster. I have been defied. Yes, defied.
Yes, but who are you to pitch yourself against the decrees of fate? This love of theirs was fated since time began.
Mister, you are sagacious in life as you are in your books.
Well, you know how it is.
Well, Mr. Wooster, you have won me over. Bring the young people to see me. Who am I, as you say, to pit myself against the decrees of fate?
Well, quite.
Bertie, this is good news.
Absolutely. Bingo's going to be thoroughly chuffed.
Bingo.
I was referring to your engagement to Honoria.
Oh, rather.
Might even make it a double wedding. Mrs. Snap has consented to be my wife.
Well, congratulations and all that.
Hello, boys. Having a good time? Dear boys, some of our drinkers, you know, showing great progress.
Here's Honoria now.
What ho, Bertie?
What, Honoria?
Just been to the dressmaker. A wedding dress party.
Oh, right. Well, isn't that good?
Lot of dashed nonsense, really. Still, got to get down to brass tacks about this, Bertie. Decide on a date. I'll come round for tea this afternoon and we'll get it settled.
It was ghastly, Jeeves. Sent a shiver down my spine. She'd been buying a wedding dress.
Very disturbing, sir.
But it was the way she said it, just cold-bloodedly.
Ladies are often almost willfully unaware of our rather more sensitive nature in these matters, sir.
Well, exactly. I mean, there might have been children present.
It seems unlikely, sir.
Or people of a nervous disposition. And it wasn't just the dress, Jeeves. There was also wild talk about setting a date. You know how people say that your past life flashes in front of your eyes?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's absolutely true. It happens. Yes, I found myself remembering the drones outing to Henley when Barmy got his foot caught in that cake stand. And the time when Tuffy Glossop ran out of money in the bar of the Ritz and had to raffle his trousers in order to buy another bottle of Bollinger.
Happy days indeed, sir. A thought has occurred to me, sir, in reference to your need to find a young lady to pose as your fiancée.
Yes, Jeeves?
A theatrical agent, sir, might well be in a position to find a resting artiste who will be only too willing to take part in such an innocent deception for a moderate fee.
Jeeves, that is brilliant. Why didn't I think of that?
I couldn't say, sir.
Yeah? Something I can do for you, buddy?
Jas Waterbury?
That's me. You looking for a job?
No, I'm looking for a girl.
Oh, aren't we all, amigo? What's your line? You running a touring company?
No, I want a girl to pretend to be my fiancée for the afternoon.
Oh, one of those. Well, you've come to the right place. I've got just the girl for you.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. Trixie Waterbury, made for the part. Right up Trixie Street. She'll cover you with burning kisses, if that's what you want.
I hadn't thought of that.
Lucky you came to me, then, isn't it? How much does the part pay?
Well, I thought about $20.
Think again, friend.
More, you mean?
No less.
15?
A comedian, too, are you? $30. Or rather, 40. That way you get every ounce of zest and cooperation.
More than I get for 30.
Oh, much more.
$40.
A plus commission.
Commission?
Yeah, another 10, inclusive.
It's strange that, isn't it? Her having the same name as you.
What's strange? She's my niece.
Will smoked salmon sandwiches and tea cakes be in order, sir?
Doesn't matter, Jeeves. Could be pig's trotters and turtle soup as far as Honoria is concerned. She's not going to get as far as the comestibles. That'll be Trixie now.
Afternoon, Wooster. Well, here she is. This is Trixie.
Pleased to meet you, I'm sure.
You can call him Birdie.
Wouldn't Sweetie Pie be better?
You're right. You hear that, Wooster? When you buy a Waterbury, you buy talent.
Will that be all for now, sir?
Yes. No. Well, yes, I suppose so, Jeeves.
That's your butler, is it?
Well, no, valet.
You hear that, Trixie? Valet?
Oh.
Nice little place you got here, buddy. I bet this cost a bundle to keep up. When are you expecting a lady friend?
Well, any minute now.
Then we better be dressing the stage. Discover. You, Wooster, sitting in that chair.
We saw the...
In the chair there, sit. Discover. You, Trixie, sitting on his lap.
What?
We're all working for the good of the show here. You want the scene to carry conviction?
Well,
then you need a sight gag.
Oh, this is nice.
This is it. Curtain going up. Passionate embrace, Trixie. Good luck, folks.
I love you, Sweetie Pie. Do you love me, Sweetie Pie?
What the hell is this? What are you doing here?
More to the point, what do you think you're doing?
Well, Trixie, this is Dr. Eggleston. Eggleston, this is Miss Trixie Waterbury, my fiancée.
Oh, hi.
Your what?
Fiancée, as in fiancée.
You cur.
Did you call, sir?
Cut yourself shaving, Bertie. Very funny. Now, I'm still relying on you, Bertie, to speak to him about the allowance. Why can't you do it? You know he respects you. Doesn't respect me at all. Oh, well, here goes.
Come in.
What, Uncle Mortimer?
Richard, my boy.
This is... Well, this is my wife. Uncle Mortimer, Rosemary. Rosemary, Uncle Mortimer.
How do you do, Lord Bittlesham?
What a charming girl. Charming. Good afternoon, Miss Wooster.
What, oh, what?
You all right?
Cut myself shaving.
Richard has told me so little about you.
Rosemary.
Rosemary. I look forward to the time we'll spend together while we get to know each other.
I look forward to that, too. Oh, have you read this, Lord Bittlesham?
Oh, yes, 3 times already. Are you also an admirer of Rosie M. Banks?
I am Rosie M. Banks.
Hardly, old girl.
Rosie M. Banks is my nom de plume.
It's Rosemary's little joke, Uncle. Her maiden name was Rosemary Bancroft.
And the name I use for my novels is Rosie M. Banks.
I should be very careful what you say, young lady. The real Rosie M. Banks is in this room.
Well, I know she is.
It's quite all right, Lord Bittlesham.
Indeed, that book is inscribed by her, him.
Him? Who wrote this?
She did. He did.
Whoever wrote it had no right to do so.
Come on, Rosie. Joke over.
This is no joke, Richard. If someone's been forging my name...
But you're a waitress.
Only whilst I was gathering material for my new book.
This is an outrage, and in the worst possible taste, Mr. Wooster. I'm sorry that the woman my nephew has chosen to marry should be so lost to ordinary common decency as to attempt to perpetrate such a deception.
How dare you?
Wait a minute. If you're Rosie M. Banks, why didn't you tell me?
I was going to, but I was so touched by the fact that you seemed to love me for myself that I put it off until we got back to London. And now I have to put up with this fat relative of yours abusing me.
How dare you, madam? That man so bravely standing there deserves an immediate apology.
What man?
This is all most interesting, Mr. Dobson.
I thought you might find it so, Mr. Jeeves.
Jeeves, a swift retirement to prepared positions is in order.
I shall follow a few steps behind, if that is acceptable, sir. I should not like to be seen in association with that hat.
Jeeves.
There's a gentleman waiting to see you, Mr. Wooster.
Oh?
Mr. Waterbury.
Bertie! Trix and me have been talking it over, and we both feel that a simple wedding would be best. No need for a lot of fuss and expense. And Niagara Falls for the honeymoon. She's always wanted to see Niagara Falls.
Mr. Waterbury, I'm afraid I don't quite catch your drift. Do I gather that Trix is thinking of getting married?
Now, wait a minute, Bertie. Didn't you introduce her to your gentleman friend as your fiancé?
Well, that was just a ruse.
What?
Well, surely you explained it to her that I wanted her to pretend that we were engaged.
What did I do that for?
$50.
I don't remember any $50. All I remember is the love light in your eyes when you first saw her. I remember it as if it was only yesterday. Her snuggled up there in your lap, pouring forth words of love.
Talking through your hat, Jazz Waterbury. You've got your facts wrong.
Wrong?
I will trouble you to break it to Miss Waterbury that the wedding bells will not ring out.
You don't want to marry Trixie?
I would marry her with a 10-foot pole.
Oh, God. This is really terrible. What am I going to say to that poor girl? You want to break the engagement after you've announced it in front of witnesses and all? Oh, the shame of it.
But there wasn't any blasted engagement.
Oh, I really hate these breach of promise cases. Hate them. As if mere money could ever make life anything but a dreary desert for her after losing you. But $15,000 may help.
Now, look here, Mr. Waterbury.
Or maybe 20 would be fairer. There's a despair and desolation to be taken into account.
Despair and poppycock.
You're a hard man, Bertie. I'll come and see you tomorrow and get your decision. And if you still don't feel like writing that check, I'll ask a pal of mine to do what he can to persuade you. He's an all-in wrestler by the name of Porky Chub. Well, he's retired now because he broke a fellow's spine, but he's still in great shape. Oh, you should see him crack Brazil nuts with his fingers. Oh, he'll do anything for me. Good night, Mr. Wooster. Good night.
Should I go and start packing, sir?
Mr. and Mrs. Peter Bradley.
Anyone in pursuit, Jeeves?
Not as far as I can see, sir.
Well, so far so good, eh, Jeeves?
So far so good, sir.
This is the one.
It's ever so rocky.
Rocky.
You know, up and down.
Jeez, Trixie, we ain't even moving yet.
Oh.
Oh, Blair, we can start a new life away from Worcester, back in England with Daddy.
But I thought your father had already been run out of England.
Certainly not. There were some old stick-in-the-muds at the BMA who doubted the Glossop method, but there was never any official complaint.
This won't make any difference to us, will it, Honoria?
Of course not, you silly goose.
Well, well, well. Here we are again, Jeeves. Going home.
Yes, indeed, sir.
What was it the fella said about home, Jeeves?
If you are alluding to the American poet John Howard Payne, sir, he compared it to its advantage with pleasures and palaces. He called it sweet and said there was no place like it.
What are you drinking, Bertie? Oh, thank you, Bingo. Dry martini. How do you know who I was? That beard wouldn't convince a whelk. Rosie's going to London to consult her lawyers about suing you. What? What for? Impersonating a sane person. My uncle's on board, too. He's going to be a witness. Well, why didn't you just tell them the truth? What? And tell her that we worked the Rosie M. Bank squeeze to try and get me married to someone else. She said one of the things that first attracted her to me was the fact that I'd never been in love before. You didn't tell her that? Yes, I did. Great Scott. Anyway, they're both rather anxious to have a word with you. Oh, my hat. They didn't know I'm on board, did they? Not yet. Ah, here's Rosie. Rosie.
Who's that strange man with beard?
Oh, I don't know. Some foreigner.
He had a very funny walk.
Lord Bittlesham's on board, Jeeves.
Yes, sir. I encountered his lordship late this afternoon.
And Bingo says that Mrs. Bingo is going to sue me.
His lordship intimated that such was the intention, sir.
Well, what am I going to do, Jeeves? I can't go into court and... Did you say something, Jeeves?
No, sir.
It's funny, I'm going to... There it is again.
I got it all worked out. Is this a torn ligament job or a bone breaker? I got it all worked out. We wait until everything's quiet, then we strike. Strike, sure.
It's the people next door, Jeeves. Seems to know that voice.
We gotta do the plan my way.
That way we don't have no trouble from anybody.
No trouble. Right.
Did you find out where he is?
I was just discussing with Porky. He's in the next cabin, number 16.
Next door.
You're talking about me, Jeeves.
Surely not, sir.
It's gotta be a pushover.
Me and Porky are going to go there tonight and have a little word.
They're going to...
Porky just loves his
Drink this, sir.
And he'd do anything for me.
It's Waterbury.
The theatrical agent, sir?
Waterbury is talking to Porky Jupp. Waterbury and Porky Jupp are on the other side of that wall, talking about coming in here tonight and having a little word. Well, we know what that means. As far as I can gather from Waterbury, the only three words that Porky Jupp knows are biff, bash, and bludgeon. Well, I'm off.
Where to, sir?
If you think I'm going to stay here and have my skull cracked like a Brazil nut, you're very much mistaken. I'm going to sleep in a lifeboat. I don't know you. Bertie, Glossop, what are you doing here?
She's after me, Bertie. I just found out she's on board.
Who is?
Myrtle is. Myrtle Snap.
I thought you were going to marry her.
Come with me to my cabin, Bertie, and I'll explain. I can't do it, Bertie.
You seemed all lovey-dovey.
That was before. As soon as we announced our marriage, she changed.
It was only yesterday morning.
I know, Bertie. And yesterday afternoon, she showed her hand. She went out and bought me a dozen pairs of Argyle socks.
But those tartan jobs, rather doggy.
Well, perhaps so, but not with my striped trousers.
Huh. Well, couldn't you just not wear them?
Well, I could have, Bertie. But Myrtle becomes so bitter and resentful. She also announced that in future, coffee will be served with dinner instead of wine.
Oh, I say.
I realized she'd become a tyrant, Bertie. I suddenly had a vision of our life together, stretching away across the years, with me prancing about in tartan socks with caffeine poisoning.
Not a pretty picture.
But she's followed me, Bertie. I saw her earlier going into cabin 27 on the corner.
Roderick! What? I'm sorry, but I've had an idea. For reasons I'm not going to go into now, I too am being pursued. Why don't you and I swap cabins?
Brilliant, Bertie.
Hello?
It's your little Murty Worty.
Little who?
I think you'll find that you have all you require for the morning, sir.
Yes, thank you, Jeeves.
I'll bid you good night then, sir.
Good night.
Good night, sir.
We want to see Wooster.
Yeah. I regret that Mr. Wooster is not at home, gentlemen.
Oh, don't give me that.
Don't give him that.
Who are you? Well, who the hell are you? Where's Wooster? Where's Wooster?
I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to divulge that information.
Oh, no? Porky? You ask him.
You mean really ask him?
Sure. But no blood?
No blood. Sure.
Now, gentlemen, I'm sure we can settle this matter amicably.
Sure we can.
Very well, very well. Mr. Wooster...
No, Jeeves.
...is in cabin 27, the cabin on the corner. I'm sorry, Sir Roderick.
Come on, Porky.
Desperate measures seem to be called for, sir.
Okay, Wooster, this is it.
James Waterbury. After 15 years.
Myrtle!
You no good tonight. She won't come back here, snake. I'll hold you to every corner of the land.
I'll get you for this.
Did you hear me? Come back here. Can you hear me? You out. You weasel. You snake of the tree. Okay. What's going on, Porky?
His wife caught up with him.
His wife?
His wife!
We can get married in England just as well as in America.
Yeah, I suppose so.
That's her. That's Wooster's fiancée.
Are you sure?
Sure, I'm sure.
Right. It's no good you making that row. You've behaved disgracefully.
He's married.
Married?
He's already married. Oh. You won't get away from me again, Waterbury. Huh? You won't get away from me, Waterbury.
pleasures of marriage, eh, Jeeves?
Quite so, sir.
But how did you find out that he was still married to Myrtle Snap?
From Mr. Dobson, the butler, sir. She had been searching for him for some considerable time since he ran off with Trixie.
He was actually going to make me commit bigamy.
And wear Argyle socks.
Ah, Jeeves. Wooster!
Ah, yes, Lord Middleton. I wanted a word, as a matter of fact.
And I want much more than just a word with you, sir.
There he is! I want a word with you.
Yes, it was all a mix-up.
You deliberately went out of your way to deceive me.
No.
You've brought my reputation into disrepute.
Surely not.
Bertie! I want a word with you, Bertie.
A word?
You're to make an honest woman of poor little Trixie.
Oh, yes.
Jeeves, do you have anything to suggest?
Just one thing, sir.
Easy on the soda, Jeeves.
Very good, sir.
8.5 months without a drink may be a drone's record.
Congratulations, sir.
Well, your jolly good health, Jeeves.
Thank you, sir.
And well rowed.
It's good of you to say so, sir. Though there was perhaps a little too much of it for my taste.
Jeeves, this is not the time for recriminations.
Very good, sir.
My navigation was impeccable throughout.
Very good, sir.
I must say, coming across the Great Barrier Reef like that was a bit of a shock.
Do you recall that long, narrow stretch of waterway that you insisted was the Serpentine, sir?
Jeeves.
It was, in fact, as I suggested at the time, sir, the Panama Canal.
Jeeves, it was hardly my fault that the compass was of unconventional design.
Again, pardon me for saying so, sir, but most compasses do point north.
Jeeves, let's not start this tedious argument again.
Very good, sir.
Get the arrow pointing towards the sun, and then you read off the direction you want with the dial thing. That's what the letters are there for.
If you say so, sir.
Well, I think I should go and have a bath. Another one of those, Jeeves.
Very good, sir.
Ah, the old 42nd Street skimmer, Jeeves.
Quite so, sir.
Only it had a voice. What a tale it could tell. But you always get your way in the end, Jeeves. Give it to some deserving cause, will you?
I shall do my best, sir. Will you be dining in tonight, sir?
Yes, why not? But Jeeves?
Sir?
Not fish, I think.
Very good, sir.